Well, people, let's get it on. It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. August 4th, 2026, Barack Obama Day. Yes. The 44th president is 65 years old today. I would touch a little bit on that in relation to the numbers. When I got done with the previous video today, I felt in my spirit to do a calculation between numbers that always come up. You always see July 13th. July 13th. That is the day that the event took place where they said Trump got hit in the ear in Butler, Pennsylvania. That's always been in my decodes forever. And then there's this 111. The 111th day of the year, April 21st, is when Pope Francis died. I felt in my spirit to look at those numbers. I had nothing else to go on. That is something to really spark it. I just felt I need to check out those numbers. And so as I thought about the month of August, like I informed you guys on the 1st of this month, which is August, that Julius Caesar's adopted son, Augustus, if there was ever a time for someone else to reign, it would be now. And so when you think about the exchange, if you will, or the transformation from one leader to another, in my mind, you can't help but think about the history of Rome. Augustus, the 18-year-old first, what I believe, emperor of Rome. I discussed that in a video on it not too long ago. So I thought about August 28th for some reason. And then I thought about August 29th. So when you take August 28th, 2026 of this year, which is coming up, which is 24 days from Barack Obama's birthday, 24. The 24th letter of the alphabet in Roman numerals is X. That means you're taken out. Then you got July 13th, 2024, when Trump was hit in the ear. When you subtract those 2 days, you get 111. And again, when my thought process hit in my spirit, I thought about 111 and 713. So on 111, Pope Francis died, which is April 21st. I've long been saying that I believe there will be a 111 somehow connection to Trump leaving. He's not going to be unalive, he's just leaving. They're taking him off the world stage. He's done damaging and putting the world in a chaotic situation. He's bringing us to that point. Now, you have 111, you also have July 13th. So I want you to concentrate on those two things, because it also comes out to 2 years and 47 days. It's been 2 years and 47 days since the day that Trump was hit in the ear, they say, in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now let's build on it, because I just concentrated at that point. I'm like, God, just help me think. And so I want to share that with you. What I came up with, you have July 13th, 2024. That's when Trump was hit in the ear. Remember? Butler, Pennsylvania. He was there. Then you have the 111. Trump signed his new temporary plane, the Palace in the Sky. As he signed it, I noticed something. On the plane, you're going to see A11. There's 2 arrows. A is the first letter of the alphabet, so that's 111. I know it's redundant, but be patient with me because I'm leading to something. Here is where Donald Trump was signing the plane. Hopefully we don't get a commercial, but there he is signing the plane. And you see the 2 arrows, respectfully, I was talking about. A11. A is the first letter of the alphabet, 111. Is Trump leaving from the air, the Bermuda Triangle, or Abraham Lincoln, or JFK moment. Check out the video from yesterday. I talked about the umbrella man. Trump said that Jeannie, what's that, Perella? I want to get it right because I don't want to hear people talking smack in the chat. I brought this up yesterday. People love to criticize you when you're on the road. They just hate you can't get it right, you can't remember nothing, just acting stupid, acting ignorant. So yesterday, Trump, Judge Jeannie Pirro, he got on her case yesterday and said that she folded like an umbrella. I did 2 videos on it. These videos deserve more than what they get, but you know the algorithm is the devil. The devil got his hand on the algorithm, and I can barely get views now. We're gonna go by faith. They don't want this information out, so you can be shocked when it go down. Folded like an umbrella, what does that mean? Well, in my mind, that's JFK, the umbrella man. Please check him out. I know it might be a pain, people, that you're not getting notifications. I know it might be a pain for me to be redundant. I know it might be a pain for me to say, look, make sure every day you subscribe and hit the bell. But people, there's a devil out here. What am I supposed to tell you? What am I supposed to tell you as I'm getting stoned to death? Now, I want you to look at, let me turn this speaker on.
Power on. Hypergear Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Satan,
Hypergear Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
once he beguiled Adam and Eve, he decided to go in contrast to God. This is where the root of antichrist comes from. Anything that's diametrically opposed to Christ is antichrist. They might even appear to be Christ-like, but at some point you'll see their nature, antichrist. There is someone, and many of which who follow Aleister Crowley, arguably the most wickedest person on the planet back in the day. He has a saying, do what thou wilt, the law. God gave Moses the law. I do believe that God gave a law and a blessing to Noah, and I do believe he gave one also to Adam and Eve, because all those arguably are beginnings. God said, I never leave you, never forsake you. So let's get into this Aleister Crowley and this law, the law. Because for you to understand what the Antichrist is about, he's got a law, but he keeps it in secret.
You ever wonder how magicians actually decode reality? Aleister Crowley's book 777 isn't just a grimoire. It's a numerical map of the invincible world. A table of correspondences so dense, it feels like a read in the DNA of ritual itself. In it, Crowley links gods, colors, planets, Hebrew letters, alchemical elements, and tarot cards, all organized by Tree of Life.
All organized by Tree of Life. God said you can have this Tree of Life, which you can go and be fruitful and multiply, but don't touch the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Satan knew he had no power and no reign and no dominion when he was hurled down here. So he had to get them who had dominion and power over the planet and get them to sin. Directly Adam, because he was given dominion. Once Adam sinned, now Satan becomes a co-realtor, if you will. Well, he needs a law now. Adam already had the law and the blessing of God. He said everything was good. Satan now has his law. And what is this lady saying? Listen to it again.
Colors, planets, Hebrew letters, alchemical elements, and tarot cards, all organized by Tree of Life.
All organized by the Tree of Life. Satan knew if he got to that Tree of Life, he wouldn't have to wait on God as he roamed back and forth in anticipation to create a 666 situation today that we have, this dystopian society. He knew that if he got past Adam and Eve through sin, he could leapfrog over in the garden and munch, so to speak, and become a part of the tree of good and evil.
Letters, alchemical elements, and tarot cards, all organized by Tree of Life.
The Tree of Life. God never intended for us to be stagnant. He wanted us to grow gradually. But as we grew, we always acknowledge and give him praise. So we learn how to walk. Now we learn how to ride horseback, then horse and buggy, then, a car, plane, train, now technology. Satan wanted to just go from walking to ChatGPT overnight. I learned decades ago from a lot of devoted ministers who knew about what I teach you guys, that the powers that be were anywhere between 50 to maybe 75 years ahead of time. This is why you see allegedly in Star Trek, they already had phones. Do you understand? You wonder why some of the things that were happening overseas in the early 1900s were happening here in America. Maybe because they had the technology and they started wars here and over there. They started a banking system here, a recession and depression here, and they kicked it off over there at the same time. Because to me, they had the technology. Satan knew if he got past Adam, he could then control the destiny and tinker with the earth. I hope you're following me. God wanted us to have his tree of life, to always give him glory, and then we can appreciate our growth process. Satan didn't want to worry about that. You got to remember, Satan's a fallen angel. He was already surpassed Adam and Eve in terms of knowledge. He's a fallen angel. However, in this plane, he had no jurisdiction and he had no dominion and power to exercise what he had. Hallelujah. So by getting him to sin, and he's now a co-resident, he now can get and become a part of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and grow that thing and use it for his superpower. I pray you understand how deep this is.
This book is how you turn symbols into spells, how you find the connection between Venus, the rose, the Hebrew letter Dalet, and the Empress card, and use it to build a working. Every series occultist Eva studies 777.
777. And like I said, when I got done with the video, I thought about 713, and I thought about 111. But I didn't know I was going to come up with 777. Are you kidding me, Pearson? No. It just came to me like that. The day that Trump got hit in the ear, subtracted from August 28th, not only gives you 111, but it gives you 777, Aleister Crowley. The will, the law, is deep. Let me go a little bit deeper. I want to show you guys how this thing works. Okay, here we go.
Aleister Crowley, and I said this enough so I should be able to get it right, but I'm paraphrasing here. He goes, magic, which of course he spelled with a CK, is the art and science of causing change to occur in conformity with will. So in a way that's sort of mind over matter, but it's the idea that one can, through will, bend reality.
Well, the gentleman there is partially right, while Crowley
He needs your will. Just because he's a co-realtor on the planet, He now had to take it to another level, or to, let's say, phase 2. He got him to sin so he could access the tree of knowledge and good and evil. Now he needs your cooperation, your will. It's deep. It's deep. I say it's deep. Somebody put deep in the chat. You're learning something here. Let's go.
Aleister Crowley. Let's talk about it. Let me just go on the record and say Aleister Crowley was the epitome of evil. Aleister Crowley started his own magic cult. This story was Aleister Crowley went to the Sahara Desert in Algeria to do this thing which was called scrying. They believe that there's 30 aethers, different levels of dimensions that you can achieve. You have to perform these magic rituals to enter each aether. And they said, I believe it's between the 10th and 9th aether. No one has ever been able to pass that, because in this aether, they call it the abyss. And in this abyss, there is like the god of demons. Like Crowley went out with this guy, Newberg, who was like his disciple, and they went to the Sahara Desert in Algeria. Every day, he would enter another aether. When they got to Algeria, Crowley actually shaved this dude's head, except for the hair on his temples, and basically pointed up his hair to where it looked like devil horns.
What the heck?
At one point during this journey, Crowley went to the 10th aether and had this experience with this demon, and this demon sacrificed Crowley, killed him in this realm, but not like physically. The whole point was like, for you to get past the 9th aether or whatever, this void, this demon, you cannot have any like self-image, like you have to be like dead to yourself. And this demon took possession of his buddy with the horns,
Oh gosh.
and literally he transformed into this creature, had a dagger, and was like fighting Crowley. And long story short, after that, after he defeated this entity, he was on this new higher level of the magic and able to finally, the first person ever to reach #1 aether. This creepy stuff.
Yeah, wacky, everyday kind of stuff.
I don't know where I'm going with this story.
You see how they roll allegedly? They're trying to max out. They're trying to get to that point. They're trying to get to that point.
A controversial figure and symbol of rebellion, was more than just a magician. He was the founder of Thelema, which considers do what thou wilt as a fundamental law of life. Additionally, Crowley was an author, philosopher, and poet, writing numerous books and articles on magic and philosophy. He was renowned for establishing esoteric organizations like Ordo Templi Orientis and the Astrum Argentum. He was famously dubbed the wickedest man in the world in his time. Crowley left a significant impact on art and popular culture, continuing to influence over decades as a symbol.
Making generational curses. People being born not knowing that their mama and daddy been delving into this stuff. Had no idea. They born into this stuff. That's why we should pray this sinner's prayer and asking God to forgive us and relieve us from these generational curses. You wonder why sometimes things don't go your way for a while? Have no idea. Generational curses. I've talked about that in my last channel because I had Masons in my family, and my grandmother had to repent before she died because she was an Eastern Star, so she can get her life right with the Lord. We all come from these different backgrounds, but we gotta realize how bad it is. My grandmother realized that, look, this is something I should have never got involved with. I'm not saying that the people who join the Masonic thing are the worst people on earth, because they did help my grandmother in a lot of places. They wash windows, they mow the lawn, they do a lot of beautiful things. But the question is, are you serving Jesus? That's the question. Now, we get off into that in another video. Aleister Crowley's birthday, October 12th, 1875, right there. His death date, December 1st, 1947, right there. Now let's break this thing down. Here's Trump's birthday, 6/14/1946. We're gonna break it down. We have Trump's birthday, June 14th, 1946, from August 28th, 2026. You get 80 years and 2-2. Remember, 2-2, what is 2-2? In Barack Obama's head, in the movie I Pet Goat on YouTube, there is a V. V is the 22nd letter of the alphabet. He sweats that V, it comes down his nostrils. The American flag shreds, ships are bombed, airplanes are throwing missiles, The antichrist is in a he's in a canoe. He's inside of a canyon. It's another realm. It's a entranceway, an archway. He's in an archway and he's going through. When he comes out, the devil shakes his head, but boulders and everything fall. At the end, the sun god Ra rises, and you see the church in the background. It's destroyed. In the New World Order, the church is destroyed. The banking system is destroyed. All major pillars around America and the world are destroyed. New religion, new banking system, new government. That's the New World Order. And again, this is what's happening when you see this V. V is the 22nd letter of the alphabet. So you have Trump's birthday versus the 28th, 80 and 22. Now, let's just call this, I'm not calling it a prediction that on the 28th something will happen. It's a subtle reminder. It is a subtle reminder that we are a step closer to this day where they're going to announce that Trump is gone. That's all I'm saying to you. Now, October 12th, 1875, Aleister Crowley's birthday. June 14th, 46, that's Trump's birthday. 70 years and 35. Who's the 35th president? That's JFK. That's JFK. Okay, so the 12th, yeah, that's his birthday. So now, the 35th, JFK is the 35th president, right there. That's why you had 35. JFK is Trump. JFK was born 1917, Trump, the president, 2017. JFK is buried in Arlington National Cemetery, Lot 45, Trump's the 45th president. JFK was married in a cathedral on June 14th, Trump's birthday is June 14th. They're one in history. That's the way they make it. Now, I want to show you something. Aleister Crowley, Moonchild. Check this out. Wrote a book titled Moonchild, October 22nd, 1929. He was nicknamed the Beast. The Beast. Now, the plot centers on the protection and unborn child. The book, Moonchild, the plot centers on protecting an unborn child. And again, Aleister Crowley's nickname is the Beast, just like United States President Limo is titled the Beast. Aleister Crowley's death date is December 1st, 1947. December 1st, 47, August 4th, 1961, Barack Obama's birthday. Come out to 13 years and August 4th. Barack Obama was born August 4th. Is he the beast of Revelation? January 20th, 2021, that's when the beast came out, the cat light. January 20th, 2021, the cat-like beast. April 8th, there was an eclipse, an X in the sky. The difference is 84. Barack Obama was born August 4th. And 79, Trump is 79 years old. At the time, Trump was 79 years old. Now let's go a little bit further. We're gonna break this down. October 22nd, 1929, that's that book. August 28th, the day something might happen. 96 years ago, and what is 10/7? Israel was attacked by Hamas on 10/7. I showed a couple of days ago the guy who was shooting at the guy who shot 3 to 4 people dead at the In-N-Out restaurant. He had a post on his website on 10/7. Kamala Harris has a book titled 107 Days. 107. 107. Now, let's get into this here. Well, let's do this first. We have to do this first. I know it's kind of long, but I have to do this first. Did the riots from LA and around the United States come out of the pit of hell? You know, in hell, there's a different law. Listen to how our president talks about our law.
the bar for singing Marie's?
Not what I think it is. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
It's about law and order. The book of the law, Aleister Crowley. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Shall be the whole of the law. Do what thou wilt. This dude was into witchcraft. Is that what's in our realm? The new law?
So that's the new law. You take